When you look, for example, the US has, I think, 3,000 regulations. In the same time, Europe has 13,500. How can, let me say, the Sparkasse Münsterland Ost, with 85 people, handle all these pages of CRR and other regulations? They need a system that is helping in terms of IT, in terms of risk management and so on. And that is what we are doing, and this is why we have the national authority and also the EZB. And so we have already, let's say, a double protection and a double authority, which we are handling for a very long time now, and we want to keep that working. We don't want to give that up, because then you would take away a very well working system, and you would make a lot of people struggling who are financed by that kind of banks.
The COVID crisis showed that the banking sector was sound. I would qualify that assessment because I think the banking sector would have struggled without the massive fiscal intervention that came with the COVID crisis. And indeed, that fiscal intervention had to come partly from the European level, in large part from the European level through Next Generation EU, precisely because of the banking sector.
International businesses will not need our system. And the other way around, we don't need the other risk in our system. So then you have another discussion, and you mix up risk and needs and businesses, and that is why it's not working.
So every bank, by its nature, will tell its clients and the public, we are very soundly managed, we are a low-risk organization, we will continue to be there forever. Your money is safe with us. This is part of the business of banking. And I don't think banks can be criticized for making that claim. That doesn't mean that banks are safe. That doesn't mean that financial stability events will not create a need for the public sector to intervene to preserve financial stability after a bank has not been able to deliver on that promise of stability.
You are now part of a bigger framework, which is the banking union. It's a bit like within a small farm in a town. We are so far apart from the main town, our contribution to the fire protection is very limited, because most fires we do alone. But still, the town will tell you, you're part of the town. You have to pay to the fire insurance. Why are you not part of the town?
We are part of the town. What is the EU doing? They changed the name from Capital Market Union to Saving and Investing Union, because transformation, and that is the main issue for the next 50 years, $800 billion every year. We have to transform private households, companies, and the country entirely. Brussels is telling us that just works with the people in the regions. The focus is entirely on the saving banks and on the cooperative banks, because we are with the people and in the region to do the transformation.
Obviously, I have a lot of sympathy with the way you just framed it, Johannes, but I would take it one step further. The reason why the savings banks are part of the town cannot be isolated from the general consideration of financial stability. We share the same currency, and banks participate in the system that creates and manages currency. Because they are banks, because they participate in the creation of money, the savings banks cannot be viewed in isolation. They are part of the system. I think the honest observation tells us that in the last 10 years, so during the Juncker Commission and the first von der Leyen Commission, in parallel with the fact that there has been not much progress on the legislative front to complete the banking union, the Capital Markets Union project, if we have to call it that way, has been long on rhetoric but very short on policy. So it would be an exaggeration to say nothing has happened, but not much has happened.
Just to conclude, because I think I have two very strong advocates for their position. I had not assumed that we would completely converge, but I was looking forward to strong arguments. And I have to say, Karolin, you brought your perspective very passionate and strongly forward. And Nicolas, I had not expected anything less. So let me say thank you very much. All the best.